playing, for example, back home in Europe when it's just an individual tournament and it's just me, I'm just playing for me. But when you've got, your teammates, you've got a teammate in front and a teammate behind, and we're all waving to each other and interacting on the course. So that's really, really special. But you also want to do well for them. You want to play well for them, and our coaches here as well.
South Carolina sophomore golfer Hannah Darling finished tied for 32nd last month in her second appearance at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. The Midlothian, Scotland native missed the top 30 in ties cut by just one shot. Darling earned first-team All-America and first-team All-SEC honors last year and is poised for more greatness on the links. She joins us today on Gamecock Talk. All right, so Hannah, you had a pretty cool experience again at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Some people don't get to play there or do this at all. You've got to do it a couple times. Tell us about your latest experience.
Yeah, it was really cool. This time I was actually fortunate enough to have both my parents there. Last year my dad had some, dislocated his hip the week before. He was meant to travel, so he wasn't able to fly. So having them both there this time was really, really nice. And then I had Sophia Burnett, my teammate, caddying for me, which was really cool. So yeah, just surrounding myself with people that make me happy, and I know I'm going to enjoy my time with them. So that was really cool. And then playing Augusta for the second time, I mean, it's breathtaking. You can't even describe it. I think the Friday that you get to play it with no one else there is just so amazing. I mean, it's so different to when you then play it on Saturday with thousands of people there. But that was really cool, and obviously gutted to miss the cut by one. You'd much rather miss it by like 5 or 6 than 1. But I mean, happy enough with the result, and starting to find some form in my game.
So you'd been there before. Was there still the off factor? Were you still snapping pictures at every hole the second time around, or was it business?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit different this year, having going into it knowing I wasn't going to be playing on the Saturday. I could almost just enjoy it for what it was rather than enjoying it for trying to prepare for the next day, So yeah, I just went and had some fun, and me and Sophia made a little challenge to try have as many birdies as I could, and ended up making 5 birdies, which I was pretty happy with, and yeah, some good vibes going into next year.
In case folks haven't figured it out by your accent, obviously you're not from South Carolina, from Scotland, but you mentioned your parents got to come. How often do they get to come see you play now?
Not very often. I mean, my mum came last year for Augusta. That was the last time that my parents had been over here, which it was really nice to have them both here. And then, they get to watch me during summer when I play tournaments there, but back in Europe. But it's not quite the same. Over here, this is where my life is now. So it's nice they both got to come over here.
One shot off from making the cut. When did you know, and how did you react? That's the slimmest of margins.
Yeah, I kind of, on the back nine, I kind of knew what it was going to be around. I knew it was going to be 2 or 3. So, I mean, it's almost hard because I didn't want to know, but when you walk to 10th tee, there's a massive scoreboard there, and my name was there, and I could see where I was. So I didn't quite want to know, but yeah, I was pretty gutted. I found out in the hotel room because I played early the second day. So I was watching the scores, and it kept flicking back and forward. I was 29th, and then I was 30th, and then I was 32nd, and then I was back to 29th, and it just kept going like that all day and all afternoon, and then finally it refreshed, and I was 32. So yeah, it sucks, but it makes me work harder, and I'll be better for the next one.
Obviously you wanted to make the cut, but did you have any other specific goals going in there? Because obviously it's not the easiest course to play. Yeah,
I mean, I would be lying if I ever said I didn't go into a golf tournament thinking or hoping that I could win it. So that was definitely there, but I really just said to myself all week, I want to have fun. I didn't quite go in with that focus last year, and I think it kind of showed at some points. So yeah, I just went out and tried to have some fun, and it paid off at times, and then other times it was just I didn't quite play well enough, but yeah, had fun for sure.
Well, some people in their lifetime will never get to go play at Augusta. You've got to do it a couple of years in a row. What's the best part about playing there?
I don't know, it's just so perfect. I think when you look around, sometimes if you're at golf courses, there's patches that aren't so great, or if you look almost up a little bit and you look through the trees and stuff, there's just some imperfections. But at Augusta, it's like you look for the trees and it's perfect. You know, there's literally greenkeepers in the trees making it look amazing, and the grass is cut so perfectly, and the greens are just incredible. Like, there's no bad places of Augusta National. It is as it seems.
What's the toughest part about playing there beyond the mystique of playing there?
Yeah.
Or is that the hardest part?
Yeah, I think it probably is, the idea of playing there, but on the Saturday when you play, it's also all the people there. You know, you have the persona of playing at Augusta National, but then you also have thousands of people watching you. And if it's not your day, you know, it's really hard to, you know, try find some momentum. But I think as well, it's pretty wide open, you know, the fairways are pretty wide, but the greens and chipping onto the greens, that's the toughest part. You know, some of the landing areas for some of the pins are so small. And, you know, if you look at like 12, for example, the par 3, you know, you've pretty much got 2 landing areas and they're like 5 yards back to front. And you've got such small margins of error that it's pretty difficult. And with all that pressure and, you know, you're playing the 12th hole at Augusta National, it's pretty hard. But I mean, it's fun, it's part of it.
You think you'll get a chance to play there again?
I hope so. Next year, hopefully we'll be in, and yeah, we can build on the experiences.
Well, last year for South Carolina as a freshman, you led the team in stroke average. You continue to do well. I think All-American, All-SEC honors your first year. Not everyone can make an impact their freshman year in college, even though you were a top 25 in the world amateur coming in. What were your expectations coming in to play collegiate golf?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really have any for the collegiate golf side. I think for me it was more just I'm moving across the world. You know, I don't know anyone here, and just trying to settle in and enjoy that aspect of it, and, you know, feel really settled. And the golf, I mean, it almost wasn't a priority for the first few months. It was, you know, just settle in and get used to the routine and get used to, you know, how you practice and how your classes are and how life is going to be. I feel like, yeah, I then was able to do pretty well with that and started the season, my freshman year, pretty well, and yeah, had a good year. But then I'm able to build off those experiences now in my sophomore year.
For those that don't know about collegiate golf, it's different than maybe what you see every Saturday on TV, obviously, because the team scores, your teammates' scores add up to a team score, and that's how, you know, you win or lose tournaments. And there's 18 teams every weekend or whatever when you're playing. Is that different when you're playing as part of a team, or how is it different as opposed to what you see everywhere else where you're an individual?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, what really drives me is my teammates and wanting to do well for that and to do well for the team, because, you know, we sit down at the start of every year and make goals for the upcoming season. So for me, you know, I always want to do well for them, and I think that is almost the added pressure on your shoulders that you have. You know, when we're playing, for example, back home in Europe, when it's just an individual tournament and it's just me, I'm just playing for me. But when you've got, you know, your teammates, you've got a teammate in front and a teammate behind, and we're all waving to each other and interacting on the course. So that's really, really special. But, you know, you also want to do well for them. You want to play well for them, and our coaches here as well. You know, we all work our ass off, so you want to perform for them.
You talked about coming across the pond here to play, and, you know, for a lot of people, just moving to a different state is a big adjustment. What was the biggest adjustment coming from Scotland to South Carolina?
I don't know. It's kind of funny, but everything. You know, there's no similarities from here to pretty much Europe, to be honest. You know, we're a very international team and very European team, so I think everyone says the same. I mean, even when you try to find foods that are similar, like even the bread is different. Like it's just so crazy, but things like that, you know, it just doesn't, it's hard to settle in, and now that I'm in my second year, I know what to expect, and I know I almost have familiarities here. But yeah, it's the food. It's a big thing for a lot of us, actually, is the time difference. You know, I used to live at home with my parents before, and now I'm like 5 hours different from them with time. So yeah, that's definitely hard. And, you know, just speaking to your friends back home, I mean, like for them, a good time to talk is in the evening, but for us, that's the middle of the day, and we've got practice or classes and stuff as well. So you've got to make adjustments there, and it can be tricky, but yeah, you got to work with it.
I know when I visited Scotland a few years ago with family, and depending on where you went in Scotland, there's different accents or brogues, and obviously it's the same way in the United States with being in the South. Did you struggle when you first came here, saying, what are they saying?
Oh yeah, I think it was more the other way. I understood them, but they had no idea what I was saying. But you know, a few of my teammates definitely say that my accent's not as thick as it was, and you almost have to adjust because you know, like to start off when you're speaking and no one understands it, you have to almost slow it down a little bit and change. So I think just over time that's happened. But it's funny, my dad, my parents were here last week and my dad was talking, and you know, he's quite a funny guy and he tries to make jokes and no one was laughing, and it wasn't because he didn't think it was funny, it was just because they didn't understand what he was saying. And you know, a lot of people said, I have no idea what's going on. So yeah, it's just that sort of thing, and it makes it different because when I then go back home, people are like, what happened to your accent? You
Really?
know? Oh yeah, for sure.
They think you have a Southern accent now, or is
No,
it just...
it's not as strong. You
Okay.
know, it's not as like strong Scottish accent.
Okay.
But yeah.
You didn't have any problem in classes though initially, or?
A little bit. I think the biggest thing, especially when you're international, is, you know, in some classes the professors will ask you to speak, and or if they ask you to introduce yourself on the first day of term, and you know, people say their name and whatever, but no one's really listening. And then as soon as like I start speaking, everyone just head up and starts looking at you, and that can be interesting at times. And you know, we had some like presentations and stuff like that. It's hard because, you know, you get nervous when people start looking at you and pay a bit more attention to you because you're, I guess, different. But I mean, it's all part of it.
You mentioned the dynamic with your teammates, and you've got teammates not just from the U.S. but from all over the world. Talk a little bit about that dynamic and what it's like to have young women from, you know, all parts of the world, and you're basically living together with how you guys practice year round and compete and travel and all that. How does that work?
Yeah, I think it makes us stronger, actually. I think we have 2 French, a Swedish, and a Norwegian. We have 3 Americans. Trying to think if I missed anyone, I don't think so. But just that, I think, makes us stronger because, you know, especially with the Europeans, everyone's away from home. I mean, everyone's away from home anyway, but, you know, not everyone's like almost another day away from home. So that makes us stronger, I would say. And you know what people are going through, you know the experience. You know, my parents just left and I was a little bit upset for a night, and you know, my teammates understood that because they went through the same thing, and just things like that you don't find everywhere. And yeah, we're a great group of people and we all get on and we've got really good team chemistry, and yeah, we have fun. And you know, this year we've not exactly had the performances that we would have wished for, but we've definitely not fallen short in having fun. That's our main goal, and we have a good time when we go out.
Tell me a little about your hometown.
Hometown is Bonnyrigg. It's just on the outskirts of Edinburgh.
Okay.
It's a very small town. Everyone knows everyone. It's really cool, and it's actually funny. Last week I was at Augusta, and this guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, I went to Lastwood High School. I'm a member at your golf course." You know, just things like that, and it's such a small world thing, but it almost feels like everyone in Edinburgh or someone knows something about Bonnyrigg, and it's quite cool. You know, people that have grown up there still live there, and it's a cool place.
What's the best thing to do in your hometown?
That's hard. It's such a small town that there's almost nothing to do, but I mean, there's probably like 4 golf courses in our little like town. So, I mean, that's really cool. Maybe 2 or 3 courses actually, just thinking about it, but you know, that almost seems like the meeting point for like our clubhouse is where people go for dinner or drinks at the weekend, and it almost just seems like a bit of a meeting point.
With Edinburgh, I guess, being close, how many times have you been to the castle there?
You know, I've been like 3 or 4 times, but that's about it.
Really?
I have to say, when like, so I'm back in Edinburgh during the summer, and it is the one place you want to avoid because there's so many tourists.
Like me, yeah.
Well, yeah, and no offense to you, but it's a lot, especially when I only go into Edinburgh now if I've got something I need to do, and you're trying to get things done, and there's these tourists like just standing around looking at a map, and it's quite frustrating at times, to be honest. But you know, it is one of the prettiest cities in the world, and it is a really cool place to be. So you know, I know why they're standing there, you know, like trying to find whatever, and you know, they're almost speechless when they're there. But yeah, it's kind of annoying for us.
When did you first pick up a golf club? When did you start playing?
I think when I was pretty young, like 3 or 4. I just was like hitting balls here and there, but it didn't get serious for me until I was maybe 9 or 10. I have to thank my brother actually. So he played football. You know it as soccer, but football and golf at the same time. And my dad said to him one day, maybe it'd be a good idea if you just chose one or the other. So he chose football, no surprise to anyone. You know, back home it's a really big sport. So then I chose golf and took over his clubs and his membership and things like that. And you know, whenever Dad would go to play golf, I would then go with him. And to start with, he was dragging me to the golf course, and now it's pretty much the other way around.
Okay.
But just started from there, and we had a lot of arguments through golf. You know, just him trying to tell me what to do, and you know, no kid wants to listen to their dad. But you know, we have a good special bond through that, and you know, I've got my dad and my brother to thank.
When did you know you were good at it?
I don't really know. I think, well, I guess I played, so back home there's this kind of foundation called the Stephen Gallagher Foundation. Stephen Gallagher is one of the best male golfers to come from Scotland. And he sets up this foundation for juniors to get them into golf and then to give them somewhere to play, kind of all ages from like, I think 5 to 18, you know, everyone's included. And there was a tournament at a golf course called Swanston, which is like 10 minutes from my house. And we saw a flyer for it and we were like, you know, why don't we just, you know, have a go? So we're driving past and the clubs are in the boot. So we decided to go in, and I had no idea how I'd played. I didn't know anything, and third place wasn't my name, second place wasn't my name. And then first place, it was Hannah Darling, and I was like, I looked at my dad and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I've just won like my first ever golf tournament, and then I went on to play 6 more tournaments after that and won all of them, and then went on to win the final at a golf course called Kingsfield, which is actually then where I did pretty much all of my training for the next few years after that. So, you know, I guess from there I almost knew I had something, but then, you know, went on a few years later to become the youngest ever Scottish amateur champion, Scottish girls amateur champion, and then kind of continued from there. So I almost knew there was something like special there, I guess.
For most people, well, for probably just about everyone, golf's not something you pick up right away and you say, yeah, I'm really good at this. I mean, it can be a very frustrating game, even no matter how much you play. Was there ever a point when you decided, no, or you thought, you know, I just can't do this? Or what kept you going?
I mean, I think I'd be lying, and I think every golfer would be lying if they said they didn't have that moment at least every year or even more often. There's been many times when I'm like, this isn't for me, I can't do it. But then you wake up the next day and you're like, God, of course I'm going to do it again. You know, this is me and this is part of me. And I guess just that, you know, it's all about momentum. You can have a great spell of golf and then you can be having, like, fighting for a good score and nothing changes, you know. It's just, it is the game. You know, things can go your way and then you go for a spell and they don't. And that's just how it is. But I think just, you know, coming in, day out, that's, I mean, the most important thing.
Other than playing at Augusta, where's your favorite place to play, whether it's back home or here in the U.S.? I
actually think, I mean, I get asked this question a lot, and I probably always say a different place, but I think it has to be at Gullen. It's one of the golf courses I'm a member of, or Bruminar is my home course back home. You know, just playing one of those courses on an afternoon when the weather's nice. And the key is when the weather's nice, because that's not very often back home. But just with my dad or my dad walking around and, you know, some friends going around, you can't beat it. It's, you know, that's home, so.
All right, where has your game improved the most? Where can it get better?
It has improved the most, I would say, through my putting, probably, in the last few years. That's probably where I've gained the most strokes, and then I can get better with my short game and then my approach play. That's where the numbers say that, you know, what lets me down, or not lets me down, but what can be improved. So for me in the next few years, that's the big thing.
Obviously, besides family, what do you miss the most about back home?
You know, I would actually say, I mean, I want to emphasize the family part, that, and family and friends is a big thing for me back home, and not being able to see them is big. But I think actually that we've got a lot of mountains and Munros and stuff like that back home, and we actually, when we were in Arizona, we climbed Camelback Mountain. We climbed that, and it was just so fun. And just things like that. When I'm back home, I do that a lot, and I go walking a lot. And from Columbia, the nearest mountain's like Charlotte, I think, which is a couple of hours away.
Yeah.
So there's not really anything like that I can do, but you know, I definitely love that, and that's something I enjoy to do when I go back home.
All right. Best truly American food that you've adopted?
Oh wow, that is really hard.
Maybe that you can't get at home as often.
I can't get at home. I have to say, I do love barbecue pulled pork.
Okay.
You can kind of get it back home, but it's not the same. Like it is, I would say that's pretty good over here, but it's funny because when I then go back home, I never crave American food. Never, ever. But when I'm here, I crave food from back home all the time.
What are you craving the most from back home?
Honestly, just everything. Like just a good roast dinner with like mashed potatoes and roast potatoes and veg and gravy, and you really can't beat it. And it's pretty good.
Yes or no to haggis?
Yes,
okay.
Big yes.
All right. Have you ever cooked it, or can you cook it for your teammates?
No, not really. Back home, you get it in like a little package sort of thing, and over here, I've heard you can get it in tins, which I wouldn't trust the tins, I have to say. But I would love to have people try it because I think when you know what haggis is, you get put off by it. But I think actually just tasting it, you would appreciate how good it is.
I was gonna say, when I went, I had haggis and I enjoyed it. Then I asked what it is.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is.
It's like, I think it's pretty much all the insides of a sheep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the insides of a sheep, like put together. But that's a good thing. You're better trying it and then enjoying it and then finding out what it is, because then at least you've tried it.
Well, we eat hot dogs in this country, and who knows what that's made of, right?
Exactly.
I don't think we want to know.
Exactly.
You don't want to know how the sausage is made sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You just want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, obviously you guys continue to do some good things. What kind of goals have you set for yourself this year?
And for me or the team?
For both.
For both. So for me, we've got, nationals coming up, and, I've got a big summer ahead. So just having some good performances there, and also, looking at the stats point of view, as I said a minute ago, I want to really try and improve on the approach play in my short game. So, looking at statistics there and just seeing how I can improve and things like that. And then for the team, we've got SECs next week, which, we want to win. And then we've got regionals, so obviously the goal there is to qualify for nationals. And then, we want to go on to win nationals and walk away with 2 rings this season. That would be pretty nice.
That would be pretty nice. How much, I know you're competing or practicing all the time, it seems like. Do you get to watch any of the Masters?
Yes, well, I was kind of looking at the scores. We've done like me and a few friends and some family, we've done like almost like, not a betting thing, but a competition within us to try pick who we think is going to win, and we've picked 5 players or 6 players from different categories. So that's pretty fun. So I've been looking at the scores a little bit. 2 of the players that people picked in the group have withdrawn, so that was pretty funny as well. But no, we do. We get to have time, and I've definitely marked off Sunday afternoon to watch the Masters.
All right. Who's your favorite professional man or woman?
Rory McIlroy, for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I grew up kind of in his rise, I guess, and back home, he's from Northern Ireland and my mum's from Ireland, so it's quite nice following him, and he's an incredible player, so why not?
Have you ever met him?
I've not. I would love to.
Okay, we got to work that out next time you're down in Augusta. See if he comes down for some early rounds.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Okay. All right. Well, things are going well for you. Things are going well for the team. Want to continue to see that. What kind of goals do you have for yourself off the golf course? What do you like to do when you're not doing all things golf, or is that such a thing?
Yeah, I think time off the golf course is time, on school and just trying to almost relax to get in a good headspace to go play golf again. But, I enjoy cooking and, things like that, and reading and, going for walks. As I said, there's a good river walk down the road. So that's pretty nice to go to, and just, having some me time, which is important.
We'll close with the most important question, or series of questions. Do they have putt-putt in Scotland, and do you play putt-putt?
They do have putt-putt. I've won a few times. It's pretty good, but I don't think it's as big as it is over here.
Okay. Do you think you could scam some people out there, at the putt-putt course and say, hey?
Oh yeah, I could definitely do some things, but start having fun, right?
All right, just hit the ball through the clown's nose. Well, congratulations on all the success so far. Good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.